Good morning. Welcome to the Community for Conscious Living weekly live broadcast. Today is Sunday, June 2nd of 2019. The Community for Conscious Living is a community dedicated to personal transformation for universal harmony, healing the planet by making inspired changes in ourselves and in our daily lives to create a sustainable environment and a peaceful world. Welcome, 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 welcome for you. Much gratitude and love for you today. Today's topic is letting go of attachments that keep you stuck in the past. Now, let's see. Before I get into the story of the attachments, which is how our attachments work, they're all built around stories, or at least anchored in. They're not built, well, let's see. Yes, they are anchored in by stories that we tell ourselves and that we hold on to. So before I get into my story, let's come into our prayer and healing circle. We'll just all come together. Let's start with an invocation. We all come together sitting side by side, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, knee to knee, coming together as one. As one beautiful existence of light and an incredible life force energy, an electrical force, with the electricity that runs through all things, brings us together as one. So together, let's take a full and gentle breath, and as you exhale, bring the funnel of energy at the front of your heart space, like that center of your heart. Just bring that center to face toward the center of our circle. Take a full and gentle breath and bring your face and all of the sensory organs from your face to face the center of our circle. You have the eyes of your head and all of your sensory organs tuned in to the center of our circle. You have the heart center, the eye at the center of your heart, facing toward the center of our circle. And take a full breath into your belly. And as you exhale, bring your belly and your hara, that energy at the front of your belly, to rest into and face into the center of our circle. And as we come together and bring our presence, ourselves to be present with the circle here, we breathe together. Let's bring our hearts together and call directly on our source. In the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate. We call directly on you. We ask you, the one, the true healer, the truth of all existence. Please send your pure essence, your pure divine light into our circle. Just imagine or perceive in whatever way you perceive this stream of pure divine light streaming into the center of our circle. The light on Nur. Just imagine this vibration streaming into the center of our circle, and allow this vibration to stream into your heart center. And as you breathe, direct your breath to breathe in through your heart center, as if that funnel of energy at the front of your heart space is a breathing portal. And let yourself breathe in through that heart center and draw this vibration of this pure divine light Draw this in through your heart center to be breathed into your heart space, into your lungs, and into your heart. And as you exhale, relax and release your heart space. And allow all of the clutter and tension, anything that's hanging out there, that the old cobwebs, that doesn't need to be there anymore, just allow that to be cleansed from your heart. Like the waves that roll onto the shore at the beach, let the breath come in, this vibration come in, and as you exhale, let the waves from the beach just draw all that rubbish back into the depths of the ocean. And this is an ocean that will take all your rubbish and purify it. So you're not littering up our oceans in this way. You're allowing what is within you to be purified in this ocean of pure divine light. And as you inhale, draw this vibration in through your heart center to fill all of your heart space, to infuse into your oxygen and into your fluids, letting this vibration be absorbed into your tissues. And as you exhale, relax, release, let this space be softened, allow it to be cleansed of any of the clutter, any of the old stuff hanging out in there that you don't need in this moment. And trust in the wisdom of this divine light to know what you no longer need for your heart. Slow and gentle breath, and let's call directly on our source and ask for that vibration of unconditional love. The unconditional love that is the basis of the existence of this material realm and the life force energy, the electricity that gives consciousness and movement and breath and life to the physical world. We call on that vibration of this unconditional love. You can breathe this in through your heart space, breathing this in, letting it fill all of your heart, filling your chest, infusing into your oxygen and into your fluids, absorbing into your tissues, filling all of your core with divine light and unconditional love. And let's call on our source again and ask for that vibration of the eternal compassion to stream into the center of our circle, along with this divine light, along with the unconditional love, the eternal compassion, the ocean of compassion that exists beyond our time and space reality. It is eternal, not dependent on our time and space existence. It is the ocean that we are contained in, that we are subsist in. So imagine this vibration of divine light, unconditional love, of eternal compassion, streaming into our circle and touching into your heart space. And with your heart center, breathe this vibration in to your chest, letting your chest be filled with divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion. And as you exhale, relax, release, and soften. Just allow any of the excess, the rubbish, to be drawn into the depths of the ocean where it can be cleansed and purified. And breathe in this vibration of divine light, unconditional love of eternal compassion. Breathe this into your heart space. Let it infuse into your oxygen. Let it be taken up by your fluids and circulated throughout all of your body, delivering this nourishment to every cell of your body. Every cell of your body carries consciousness. So invite every cell of your body to turn to face this nourishment as it is being delivered, transported to every cell. Invite every cell to face this, to open, to receive this nourishment, and to allow the flow of this nourishment to cleanse the consciousness of every cell of your being, breathing in this vibration of divine light, Anur, the unconditional love, Al-Wadud, and the eternal compassion, Ar-Rahman. Delivering this vibration to every cell, cleansing every cell of your body. At the core of your being, your consciousness, which exists at the depths of your heart and at the core of every cell of your being, is the knowing of your true existence, that existence of divine light, of unconditional love, of eternal compassion, this breath of your source that was breathed into you at the beginning of your existence in physical form. That is the breath of life and the knowledge that that breath of life contained when it was breathed into you. Allow this knowing that exists within the consciousness of every cell of your being and within the depth of your heart. Allow this to be reactivated and restored and remembered consciously throughout all of your being. You breathe in this vibration of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion. I want to invite your conscious body to really drop in to your physical space, to take a seat into your pelvic seat, and to connect in with your body and with the furniture beneath you, all the way through your hips and your legs, your knees, your calves, your shins, your ankles, your toes, and all the way through the bottoms of your feet, and feel your presence that is a being of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion. No matter what has ever happened to you in your life or whatever choices you have made, they're like a grain of sand that makes a ripple in the ocean. But the truth of you is this divine ocean, and that does not change no matter what grains of sand have fallen in your ocean. So drop into your physical body. Feel yourself grounded in your body. And let the vibration of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion resonate throughout your core, through your heart, and through every cell of your body. Continue to breathe in that vibration of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion. And I invite you to listen with the ears of your heart and of your soul and of this consciousness of knowing. As I talk to you about the stories. The stories and the nature of how we hold on to the events of our past and how our attachments to the events of our past can keep us stuck, and then how we can reverse that stuckness to live our truth. I'll start with sharing a story about when I was a child. This was more than 50 years ago. When I was a child, my grandmother played piano and organ. She was an incredible musician. She played beautiful music. And I guess I saw enough of her and heard enough of her to really admire her talents, her gifts. She was a piano teacher, and she lived about 5 hours away from us by car ride. And somehow, I don't really remember, but we had a piano, and I picked up piano, and it was determined that I had musical gifts. So one summer, my mother arranged for me to go and stay with my grandmother and take piano lessons from her, learn how to play while I lived with her and would be immersed in it. And now my grandmother, everybody used to talk about her, and her reputation, I remember more of her reputation than I do of her as a human being. And her reputation was that she was quite mean and abusive. And she had made this long car ride to come and pick me up for the summer. And, of course, she came to our house, and I don't remember if she even spent a night there. I think she might have just driven there for the day to pick me up and then take me back. But everybody came over, our aunts and cousins, and everybody came over to see her while she was in town. And while I was in my room getting my little suitcase all, and everything lined up, one of my cousins, a boy cousin who was about 5 years older than me, and still is, he came in and decided to torture me with horror stories. Everybody else was in the living room visiting my grandmother, and he's in there telling me these stories about how my grandmother was going to get me alone because she lived out in the country. She was going to get me alone in this place, and she was going to beat me, and she was going to starve me and lock me in the closet and all this kind of stuff. And I tell you what, I have no idea if that would have been true. I mean, I do believe she was mean, but I don't know if that would have been true. I have no idea. But at the time, this terrified me. And when it came time to leave, my mother came to get me out of my room, and I was literally crouched in the corner of my room screaming. There was no way I was going to go anywhere with this woman who at the time all I could see was this monster who was going to treat me horribly, and I was going to be all alone and not able to call on anybody for help. I was terrified. So, of course, nobody says, hey, well, what happened? You were ready to go a minute ago, and now you're this. Nobody said, hey, what happened? All of a sudden, it's just, oh, you're just a big baby. You're afraid to leave your mom. And then my grandmother was just so angry because she had made this long trip to get me. And she comes in and she's yelling at me and telling me, you're never going to amount to anything. There's no way you're ever going to, blah, 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 blah. And boy, did I ever take all of this in, right? My cousin, meanwhile, I look over at him, and he's in the doorway just sneering and laughing. He just thought it was the funniest thing ever. But I, however, was scarred for life, left with this feeling that I would never amount to anything, that I was just too chicken, too much of a scaredy cat. I would never be successful. I was a big disappointment. And boy, I tell you what, I really believed that with my grandmother as angry as she was and my mother as angry as she was, that it was like I better not ever betray their anger and what I had caused them and risk their wrath ever again by becoming successful. I better not ever touch into that opportunity again, and I certainly better not ever try to play music again. right? Now, I mean, truth be told, there was a time where I picked it up a little bit later in life for a little while, but I could only let myself go so far with it before I was like, okay, this is enough. I'm done, right? Now, I mean, unfortunately, nobody ever said, hey, what happened there, right? Why did this happen? What shifted? And so, of course, I was also left with the belief that no one really cared to understand me or why I felt the way I did or why I reacted the way I did. And I certainly was not ever going to be given a chance to explain myself. I just had to hide it, keep it all inside, right? Now, this happened more than 50 years ago, but it led to a lot of mental programming that followed me and stayed with me throughout my life, right? This mental programming stayed intact, directing all of my future responses to the different things that happened in my life, but it was all there with the intention of keeping me safe, right? Because this is the role of the mind. And it was not until many years later that I got into the healing path. I mean, if you knew, when I first got into the path of healing, let's see, how long ago was that? That was over 20 years ago that I really, that was, well, I guess it was more than 20 years ago, 25 or maybe even 30, I don't know. But 25 years ago when I really got into healing, and if you had known me then, I was still a very terrified person. I, at times, was so terrified I couldn't speak. And I tend to be a quiet and reserved person anyway and keep things inside. But there's a difference between observing and choosing that and wanting to speak and just not being able to. Like the voice just won't come out because there's too much terror there and too much of a wall that was a barrier to letting that come out. And that's how I was when I started on this healing path, right? But this is how the mind works. The role of the mind is to keep you safe. It didn't mean, even though at the time I thought I was a horribly defective person that was just, inept and lacking and damaged, and I don't know if I thought I was damaged as much as I just was like not enough. I just didn't have it. It was who I was, and I was just a failure, right? But that was the belief that I had taken on. However, through all the layers of that was still this part of me that had become a part of my mental programming that was trying to keep me safe. We are all hardwired for survival. Your mind keeps you safe and keeps you in survival by cataloging the events of your life and by ascribing meanings to them, by associating the ways that you felt at the time and what you really needed at that time. And then it puts a whole rationalization and reasoning around that. From all of that, you develop your belief patterns that become the basis of how you're going to function in life, right? You've got all these snapshots, movies, soundbites, right? All of that is remembered in your cellular consciousness, right? It becomes imprinted in you. The who said what, the how you felt about it, the your mind is associating all of this with your emotions and your nervous system responses, and all of the meanings and the hows and the whys and the whos that all go along with that. The mind helps you determine what actions are going to keep you safe in the event that those pictures or emotions or the nervous system responses become activated again. And this becomes the development of your belief patterns, of your coping strategies, of your defense mechanisms, of your survival tactics, and your identity becomes built around this. Who you are, what the world is about, and how you relate to the world. All of this becomes a part of you. So can you relate this to events from your past? How do the memories of the events of your past affect you now? Are there times in your adult life where you stop yourself from going for the things that you really want? Then when you feel that disappointment, you go home feeling sad or hopeless or dejected or rejected or, whatever has come up for you. And then what do? I mean, this is where our emotional eating becomes such a significant part of our lives and a reflection of what's really going on inside, right? So many of us will just, let me plop my butt down on the sofa, grab a bag of chips, a pint of ice cream or whatever, and numb out in front of a movie, right? Where that fear of failure, lack of fulfillment, these are our learned beliefs. They're based on past experiences and hurt feelings, but they stay intact in the subconscious to keep us feeling safe. Right? It's all about safety and survival. So no wonder it's hard to let go of the past. The role of the mind is to remember the past and use the past events to predict future situations that might bring harm so it can be preemptive in keeping you safe. Right? But we just went through this whole beautiful meditation, and hopefully you're still breathing in that essence of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion. Hopefully you're still breathing that into the depths of your heart, deeper and deeper with each breath, because this is a divine truth that is the divine truth that is intact in the existence inside of yourself, your core essence. This is your core truth. All of these events that program our operating system, how we're going to be and relate in this world, we tend to think of these as life-defining moments. But there is a life-defining moment that precedes all of that, that is the truth of your entire existence. And that is that moment that the life force energy of this divine light, unconditional love, eternal compassion, this breath of your source that contains the knowledge, the true knowledge is in the form of vibration and energy. It is the breath that's breathed into you and that still breathes you today and beats your heart today, gives you life and consciousness into your physical form. This is the original life-defining moment that is the core truth of your existence. Anything else that happened after that point has been layered on top of or around this core truth. It's covered over your truth. It's put up barriers and walls around your truth to protect the truth. But that truth, your being as a divine light, is still intact inside of you. And it's ultimately the compass that has guided you through everything in this world. Now, this light is guiding you because everything ultimately, no matter how many barriers that you've put up, how many belief patterns that you've established, and how many survival strategies you've put in place that you're operating with, ultimately it's all there to protect that core truth and to honor that core truth. It might seem a far cry from that, but if you trace back through the layers, it is all about honoring your core truth, and that core truth is what guides you through everything. The key to letting go of the attachments in your life is to recognize, first off, acknowledge the way that your mind and your core light and your emotions and your beliefs and your patterning all work to help you to navigate this life journey you're on, and acknowledge the existence. Even if right now it's just an idea, acknowledge the existence of this core light inside of you. Acknowledge all of this and invite your mind to come to witness the core light, or at least to be open to witnessing the core light. The role of the mind, again, is to observe. And you think about, in the spiritual teachings, my spiritual teacher used to always say, be like the child. Be like the child. Now, what does it mean to be like the child? In the early years of childhood, especially in that first 7 years, the child has not been programmed yet. The child still has a knowing of its core truth of love and light and compassion, and this internal compass that will be its guide. The child is still seeing things from that perspective and comparing everything it sees to what it knows inside of that light and that connection. It sees things as either the connected to that light or affirming that light, or as something that is not affirming that light and therefore causing a disconnect or a sense of disconnect and separation, reinforcing the separation of our life on earth, which is not really separation. It's just a perception of separation. But this is for the child. The child is learning and developing its beliefs and its patternings, its imprintings, it's taking on the imprintings, but it's doing that by observing what is happening in the moment. And it's not until, after that first 7 years that this operating system gets established, and from that point forward, we're operating on the basis of what has been established in that operating system based on earlier beliefs. So invite your mind and yourself to be like the child again. Come to witness the existence of the core light. Come to witness the emotions of the heart and the responses of the body and the nervous system. Witness in this moment and invite your mind to learn from the present. So, okay, you have those past beliefs, but what is happening now? And give yourself and your mind opportunity to witness the core light inside yourself. Let your mind relearn and repattern from today's perspective based on the witnessing of your own divine light. So make that invitation to your mind. And again, breathe this essence of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion into your heart. Into your heart center, and let your breath and this light activate that core light inside of you. If you have any pictures or memories or feelings or anything that have been activated as I've been speaking, anything from your past that is still affecting you and where the imprinting is causing some stuckness in your current life, holding you back in any way, I invite you to make an intention around that and bring that intention, that prayer, or offer that energy of that imprinting, that patterning, and all of the beliefs and emotions and everything that go with it. Offer it into the center of our circle, into this container, this ocean of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion. Just offer that into the center of our circle, and I'll give you a moment of silence to do that for yourself. Okay, offering that into the center of our circle, calling on our source, asking you to please, in your wisdom, as the true healer, send your light, your healing, and all of your helpers, your prophets, your saints, your perfected ones, your guides, your angels, your healers, your helpers, all who you send to help us. We ask that you send them. We ask that you send your divine attributes to cleanse, to purify, to heal, to release each and every one of us from the attachments of our past that keep us from living the life that you have meant for us to live today, the life that is waiting for us to say yes. And call on your essence of your pure divine light, on Nur, your pure unconditional love, Al-Wadud, your pure eternal compassion, Ar-Rahman, and of course any of the attributes, the qualities, the vibrations that you want to send for us for healing, for purification, for cleansing, for restoration, for returning to your truth. And just feel that coming in for you. Let this stream into your heart. If your heart is feeling a connection to any emotion or any bodily sensation or anything, this is a beautiful thing. Just let this light, this vibration, stream right into the depth of your heart and into any place where you're feeling any emotion or sensation. Let this, even if it's a block, if it feels like a block, just let this vibration stream into your heart. Let this stream into whatever places in your body or in your mind. If there's a block or a barrier, just let it be surrounded and held in this pure vibration of divine light, unconditional love, of eternal compassion. Let it be surrounded, let it be held. Let this core essence, this essence of your core light being, your core spirit, let this stream into your heart and into your core, Let it cleanse out any of the attachments and the beliefs. Let it stimulate that light at the core of your heart. As you breathe this in with each breath, take it in deeper and deeper through your heart center. Let it take you deeper into your heart with each inhale. And as you exhale, let it cleanse more, like excavating the cave of your heart. Let it release more and more of the constriction in your heart. Let it soften and open your heart. And with your next breath, breathe in even a little bit deeper. And allow yourself, your conscious body, to lean back in your physical body. So you're leaning back toward your spine and resting into your vertical core, your core energy. Your core light essence. Resting back into that. Rest under the gentle waterfall of your own core essence of divine light and unconditional love and eternal compassion as you breathe that deeper and deeper into your heart. Breathing that in and say yes to your own light, and invite your mind and all of your consciousness to witness this light as you rest in it and breathe with it and feel it being you, filling you, becoming your core, anchoring your light into your physical existence and emanating from your core throughout your body to every cell of your body. Anchoring your consciousness of your own being as a being of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion, anchoring that into the knowing of every cell of your being. Restoring the truth of your divine essence into your physical existence and into your physical life. Let your mind be cleansed of the old beliefs and witness the truth of your divine essence as you are right here and right now. Again, if there is any prayer for healing or any intentions or any gratitude or anything that you would like to express directly to your source, and take a moment to do that now and let your heart just imagine your source, a representation of your source as a ball of light right in front of you, a magnificent light or whatever works for you. Just imagine it right in front of you. And just as you, at the beginning, brought your face and your heart and your hara, your belly, to be present with our circle, bring this to be present with your source. Breathe in the light of your source and let your heart speak directly to your source. Whatever it wants to say, whatever it wants to express, however it wants to breathe, let it breathe with the breath of your source. Let this breath cleanse you, fill you, restore you to your true divine essence. sometimes there might be a little part of you that's saying, but who's going to keep me safe? What's going to keep me safe? Trust in the divine and ask in this moment if you need an anchor for safety, if you need a repatterning for that safety, for that assurance. Call on the protection of the divine, of the one. Call on that protection. Call on, just ask to be imprinted and templated with a new patterning and a new level of trust that will bring your trust to your source and to that knowing that lives at the core of your light being. And let the truth of the divine essence anchor you with a solid confidence and certainty into your own being, to give you the trust in your core light and in your connection with your source as a being that is filled with the breath of your source. That breath is your life force. When you think about it, when the body dies, the life force energy leaves the body and the body decays. This life force, this breath that keeps you alive, keeps your heart beating and your breath breathing. This is that core light of your source. And that core light of your source is the pure divine light. It is the pure unconditional love and the eternal compassion. This is the breath of spirit that gives life to your physical form, and it is the truth of your existence that is integrated into this form, and it is the light, the core essence, that can completely embody and integrate into your physicality to become that truth, that core that you live from, that you know yourself as, that is your true being, your existence, your core. The truth of who you are, the eyes through which you see, the ears through which you hear, the heart through which you love and understand and relate to the world. Your mind becomes the observer, the witness to the knowing of your core light, the heart of your divine essence. So again, let that anchor into your core and into every cell of your being. And let that ground into your physical self, and take a moment for gratitude. Give gratitude for the healing you've received, for the new knowledge that you've received, for the remembering of your truth and the restoration of your inner knowing. I'll bring this part of the call to a close and open up for Q&A. If you're listening to the recording, I invite you to join us on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. U.S. Pacific. You can find the information for joining us at joyfullylivingwellness.com, joyfullylivingwellness.com. While you're there, pick up your copy of the 10 Spiritual Principles of Our Human Existence. That is a one sheet that contains just 10 principles of who we are, what this life journey is about, the truth of our existence. There are many things in this material realm that are bombarding us constantly with messages that tell us other than the truth of who and what we are, that take us out of our center and out of our truth and imprint us with all kinds of information that's not in honor or respect of our highest core light. So we can do ourselves a favor by reminding ourselves as much as possible, at every turn if possible, of the truth. So these 10 principles are on one sheet. You can print it out. You can make multiple copies and put it everywhere, on your nightstand, on your mirror, in your pantry door, your refrigerator door, in your purse, in your wallet, at your computer, your desk, your car. So put it everywhere so it'll remind you of the truth of who and what you are and reverse the imprinting from the false realms and repattern you and restore you, return you to the knowing of your true essence. All right. Again, thank you for joining us. Meet us back here. Find the information at joyfullylivingwellness.com. I'm going to stop the recording and open for Q&A.